This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting techniques, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 222. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is Sam Ryder. The viral singing sensation released his debut record last Friday, titled There's Nothing But Space, Man. In today's episode, we're speaking with Sam about the songwriting on this record, missing phone calls from Dave Grohl, and if he's visiting Australia anytime soon. Here we go. Our guest today is one of the most popular musicians to emerge during the pandemic era. Originally uploading videos of himself singing on TikTok, he spent the last year representing the UK at Eurovision and singing on stage with Queen. Last Friday, he released his brilliant debut solo record, There's Nothing But Space, Man. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Sam Ryder. Hello, sir. How are we?
Hello. How's it going? I just want to, remind you that I've just stepped out of the shower here. So apologies. And you know what? I'm just doing my best.
Look, regardless of out of the shower, in whichever kind of state you're coming in, Sam, I very much appreciate you coming on. It is an incredibly exciting time for yourself. I feel very kind of blessed that you're with us at the moment, because as of right now, at least in Australia, your album, There's Nothing But Spaceman, is out right now as we speak. So firstly, congratulations.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
Of course. How are you feeling? I imagine that there's a lot of things kind of going on for you right now.
I think you can easily amp up release day too much in a way. Like you can set yourself up to like release day. In my experience, obviously this is my first album, but singles in the past, it feels like the eye of the storm. Like it's quite calm because there's so much work and sort of noise and strategy and all these kind of like, I don't know, fuss and whatnot leading up to it. Like and then the day comes and you're like, what now? Like you're kind of like that Action Man figure with the eyes going. And then it starts, picking up, please God, if it goes well after the fact. But I always think the best way to do these things is to kind of have your fingers in different pies. Like, for example, the album's out tomorrow, but we've got like a bunch of outdoor shows all around the UK that we're doing. Like it's essentially a UK tour, and we've got record store signings. We're busking all over the place. So my mind needs to be on that. We just yesterday filmed a New Year's Eve TV special, which is the most bonkers thing I've ever been a part of musically in my whole life. It is. I enjoyed it so much, but I'm so glad it's done because it was so monstrously like hectic and I've never sung that long in my life. Like it was a 10-hour stint that we were singing in rehearsals over and over. So my voice is like, my main priority right now is thinking how I'm gonna just like keep my voice intact for the coming days.
I can very much appreciate that there's obviously a lot on your plate. Sam, I was hoping to talk about, I feel like that in the last year and a half to 2 years, the world the world over, I feel like, has fallen in love with Sam Ryder, and I don't mean to be hyperbolic when I say that, but I feel that it's kind of true. It's that there's something about your voice, your showmanship. I think that a number of people have fallen in love with your sunny disposition and relatable personality as well. You do seem, even from the few minutes we've been chatting, a lovely bloke. How do you find, I guess, all this newfound, or in the last 12 to 18 months, this newfound kind of fame and attention?
Well, first of all, bless you, mate. It's really kind of you to say. Appreciate that, Simon. Look, I've been playing music for a long time, and mostly to no one, like touring around or playing pubs and putting petrol in my car and driving somewhere where ultimately you kind of know no one's going to be, but you play there anyway, and it's for the love and it's for the joy. And I've got tons of friends that are still doing that now, and like I know the struggle and I know the journey that you're on if you're a musician, and to be here, like seemingly anyway, on like in the first room, if like music and a career in music is a castle, I feel like over the last year or two, I've been let into the lobby. Do you know what I mean? And I've seen what it's like. And I don't think it brings you any more happiness than you had before. So knowing that is a kind of armament against what's coming. When in the 8 years I was playing weddings, and before that when I was working construction and, working a few jobs and trying to run a band at the same time, I found joy in music and purpose and fulfillment. So I know that exists without the career and all the glitzy stuff that comes after it. So that sort of like helps on the journey, keeps your feet on the ground, and understanding that there's an awful lot of luck and chance that have played their part in this whole thing as well, because I know I can name a long list of singers that could sing me into a bin. Do you know what I mean? But I'm here, so my main priority is to respect the fact that I'm here and respect those that are on their journey, and just try and do my best with the opportunity that's come my way, and that I've been frankly just very lucky to have and been blessed with.
I think, and this is maybe what I was talking about before, and not to pardon my language, not to blow smoke up your ass, Sam, but I think that it is the thing that even your answer there, it is quite humble, it is quite relatable, and that's why people are connecting with you. I know that there's lots of people here in Australia that are very excited about this album. We were very lucky enough to have a bit of a listen beforehand. I was wanting to talk about, if I'm allowed to, one of my favourite tracks, which was called More. I thought that was a brilliant track. I think that it kind of builds, and then it's all of a sudden, I found it towering in sound. Sonically, it's a massive song. Would you be able to? Sorry, would you be able to take us, I guess, behind the scenes a little bit on the inception of that song?
Yeah, totally. I wrote that song down on the coast in the UK with a production duo called Red Triangle, and then a songwriter called Wayne Hector, who is famously known for writing Flying Without Wings, which is an absolute belter. I mean, these guys, they're all of these guys, they're good friends and fantastic collaborators and talented writers and songwriters and lovely people. And to write a song like More, you need to be in an environment that you're comfortable with the people, that's the essence of the song. It's about, it's an open-hearted song. You're talking about the real treasures in life in a world that puts false treasures on pedestals constantly, day in, day out. You're kind of enamored with these things that shine, but they shine momentarily, and they dim compared to time with loved ones, or like in my case, like sitting around the table now, there's 4 generations of my family. My granddad's 90 years old, got my nephews there, like we're just chilling, eating a curry, watching TV, like chatting, laughing. Like, these are the golden years. This is the golden age of my life. I'm living it right now, and it's nothing to do with the music. You know, it's nothing to do. Music's always a massive part, but it's nothing to do with my career. Put it that way. You know, music and a career are two different things. But this was the golden age with or without that. And so it's trying to put into music that for other people as well that feel the same way, or maybe that haven't realized it yet. Because it wasn't until lockdown that I really realized that this was like, you know, when things slow down and you can hear you just see the wood from the trees a little bit more, because there's not everything going on all at once. And I really started to realize, like, I was 31, man, in lockdown. It took me that long to realize, like, something that I thought I already knew, of course, because all of us like say, oh yeah, family's like so important to me and my loved ones and hanging out with everyone. We all say that, of course we do. But to really actually like sit down and think, oh my God, these days are gonna fly. And it won't be long until I'm sitting here, probably in the same house that I am now, looking back at something that just passed like that. And it was time with these people. And it probably won't be long after that you're the 90-year-old, you know, God willing, at the table. And you're like, what the hell happened? And how am I here now? And that's what the song is. That's the essence of it.
It is a beautiful song. And yeah, what is the expression? Is it that you don't realize you're in the good old days until you're out of them, or whatever it may be? Yeah, but that's exactly the kind of the essence of the song. I thought it was a beautiful song, so thank you for kind of sharing that with us. I know that you mentioned in lockdown that there was a lot of clarity for. I know this almost seems kind of silly, because I think that a lot of people are aware of you now at the end of 2022. For the few people who have been hiding under rocks for the last few years, you did find popularity on TikTok from singing while in lockdown, which is how I think a lot of different people came to you or found you through different tracks. I personally, again, lockdown here in Australia, scrolling through, and I see this beautiful haired man belting a song from Wicked. And I think there's lots of other different people who came to you with different songs as well. What was it kind of like in that moment where you're just uploading your songs, doing what you love, and then having, I think, thousands upon thousands of people like it? I think Alicia Keys duetted one of the videos with you. What was that kind of experience like when you knew, or I guess when you realized that things were kind of, momentum was starting?
Yeah, it was, you know, just strange. I've got to take this off for a second. My hair is well heavy. There we are. But it was incredibly strange. It felt like I said earlier, the music and singing and the sort of journey of singing, the craft of singing, whatever you want to call it, like that I'd been working on for so many years in different guises, was starting to, like, I don't know, it's like a tree that you're watering for years, and you keep telling yourself one day it will flower, like it will like bear fruit. And all your mates are going, nah, mate, that's dead. There's no chance. And then all of a sudden, like, a little sprout comes up or something. And it's kind of like that. And then it really started taking on a life of its own rapidly. So in the last 2 years, you know, it makes everything that I've done since I was 14 years old and picked up a guitar seem like an absolute dot, almost like you could pack it all into one day of the last 2 years. But of course, it holds so much more importance than that, because while you could, you know, arguably say it could fit into such a small, like, time frame of this last 2 years, that 2 years just couldn't have happened without that, without the years of, like, failure and skin thickening, you know, through really realizing, like, yeah, this is really what I want to do, and I'm happy, and I make peace with the fact that it might not happen, but I'm going to do it anyway, and I'm never going to stop. I'm just going to keep trying. It's almost like the kind of the rite of passage. It's where you earn your stripes and stuff like that.
I can very much appreciate that. I would, if you'll allow me to, I'd love to talk about the gentleman that you mentioned a second ago, 14-year-old self picking up a guitar? Because I think if I did my research correctly, your introduction or your inspiration to start writing music was an artist that I would not have associated with you originally, was yourself going to a Sum 41 gig and seeing them play music.
Yeah. I have a secret. I wore the wrong foundation for years. Then I discovered Il Maquillage. Their AI-powered quiz makes it so easy to find a perfect match, customized for your unique skin tone, undertone, and coverage needs. With 600,000 five-star reviews and 50 shades of flawless natural coverage, this foundation is going viral for a reason. And with Try Before You Buy, you can try your full size at home for 14 days. Take the quiz at ilmaquillage.com/quiz. That's ILMAKIAGE.com/quiz.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. What are your self-care non-negotiables? It's hard to make time for the things that keep you healthy, but being consistent with self-care is like working a muscle. And when life gets crazy, that muscle keeps you strong. Therapy is the ultimate self-care, and BetterHelp makes it easy to get started with affordable online sessions you can do from anywhere. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com today to get 10% off your first month.
Oh, mate, I was Sum 41 daft when I was a kid. I was the biggest fan, and I still am. I'm still a massive fan. I love that band. And they've got that spirit of just continuation. They just go, go, go. And still smashing it now. And it was them and Iron Maiden were like my heroes when I was a kid. But before that, my parents raised me on amazing music. Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie Wonder, Beautiful South, like Queen. Queen are like my all-time favorite band, along with Iron Maiden. But it wasn't until 14 when you grab a guitar and you start like making your own listening choices. You know, when you start going to secondary school and you start hearing about bands that your parents don't have in their record collection. I found an Iron Maiden CD on a bus on a school trip to a nunnery. I went to a Catholic school, and there was this Iron Maiden CD just laying on the floor on this bus, which is like mental. Like, how does that happen? Who drops an Iron Maiden CD on a bus? But here it was, and it changed my life 100%. Like, changed the course of music for me. Brought like melody and like passion and that like heavy metal spirit as well, of like getting stuck in, and just no is not an option. Failure is not an option. Even though failure happens to you, accepting it is not an option.
100%. You mentioned your family just a second ago. Is anyone else in your family musically inclined or musically talented?
No, my mum can sing though. She can hold the tune. She'd like laugh her head off if she heard me say this. But like some people, you know, when they sing, they're just like, what note are you even trying to hit there? But my mum can, like, she like sings in the right pitch when she sings along to things. I reckon she'd be handy in a choir actually, but she'd laugh if she ever heard this.
Were they? I don't want to say surprised, but you mentioned some of the music they were playing before, and then yourself. I think it was which concert was it? I think it was the Taylor Hawkins tribute concert where you ended up singing with Queen. Is that?
Yeah.
I guess firstly, how was that moment? But I guess for your family as well, is that like a bit of a?
Yeah. It was mind blowing. That's like, I mean, you have dreams as a kid when you're learning guitar and playing riffs in your bedroom mirror and like pretending that you're a rock star. You have dreams that one day you'll be like your heroes. Like, I want to be like Queen, or I want to play in stadiums like Iron Maiden. But you don't really have the dream that I want to play with them, because that seems absurd. Even when you're a kid, that's absurd. Because it's like, that doesn't exist. How do you make that happen? And so yeah, when like I said, Queen, just such an important band for me, and Freddie's like legacy and what he like brought to the table vocally and as a songwriter and as a person. it like holds so much weight and continues to do so in my life. So when that happened, when I got that phone call, I basically like welled up, you know. I was sitting in the car and I was like, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And the cool thing about the story is, if it wasn't cool enough, is I had a missed call on my phone. When Dave Grohl introduced me on that night, he said, I don't know if anyone caught it, like this person, we called this person and 20 minutes later, he got back. The reason it didn't take me like 1 second to get back is because I missed the call, because I was flying up in a Spitfire, like an old World War II aircraft, like absolutely famous, like Merlin engine Spitfire, just around the skies of Britain with my friend Francis, who's this like really well-known train spotter here in the UK. And and then I landed and realised there was a missed call, and it was Dave Grohl and Queen. How cool is that?
Even having a story like that in any kind of career is incredible. And I think the fact that, you're able to kind of say, I was doing this with, I love that story.
I mean, it was an amazing night, man. I mean, like, obviously we're paying tribute to someone that was gone too soon. Like, Taylor, again, like, what an inspiration to so many young musicians, and a reminder for older musicians that it's not just about being like a successful musician. It's about the energy that you carry throughout that, like the massive smile on his face behind the drums and the passion and the energy.
100%. I think that I know before you mentioned that in your 30s in lockdown, and I think you and I might be roughly around a similar age. I think for people born in our generation, that Taylor was a very special kind of musician to people who listen to rock and indie rock and things like that. So yeah, I can imagine it was a very special experience for yourself. I was hoping to talk about, as we mentioned, the world over seems to love Sam Ryder. There are a lot of fans here in Australia, and I think I'd be kind of remiss if I didn't, obviously won't press for too much information, but ask, is there any chance that we'll be able to see you down here at any point? Is there going to be a tour? Will we be able to do this face-to-face?
I'm sure. I have no idea. I'm not holding any information from you. The truth is, I just don't know. But what I do know, the team around this project is like they're tenacious, and they don't miss a thing. So when the time is right, I'm sure they're already away planning it, you know. But we'll be there just as soon as we can possibly be there to say hi and to say thanks in person, and to get the ball rolling over there.
That is very exciting. I know that as I said, there seems to be a lot of love for you the world over. Are you, I guess, having a look at what the next year holds? As you mentioned, there was a New Year's special. Without divulging too much or giving away too much, are you allowed to talk about what's going to happen on that, or is that more of a secret for?
Yeah, I can. It was all announced yesterday. So we've got Melanie C from the Spice Girls. She's joining us.
Incredible.
Sigrid is an amazing singer, songwriter, a friend of mine. There's an amazing choir in London called House Gospel Choir that are just wicked. And Justin Hawkins from The Darkness. Just a collection of absolutely banging tunes, some off the new record as well. And some covers that are some of my favourites. There's going to be some big moments in this show.
That is very exciting, and quite an eclectic mix of people, I feel. So I think that's going to be definitely one to watch for those who do have access to the BBC. It is on the BBC, I believe. I'm correct. Yeah,
BBC One. Like I said, this year and any years, like New Year's, a time to celebrate, but also, you know, if people have had a rough one, we're all going forward together, you know. So I think it's about creating an environment that celebrates that. And like I said, we're all going in the same direction, so we may as well go there together. And that's what the show is intended to sort of portray and carry energetically.
I love that.
If that
I think
makes sense.
No, it does. It does. For yourself, even possibly outside of your career-wise, just in general, as we said, it's coming to the end of the year. Is there anything, I guess it might be, I don't know how you are with New Year's resolutions and sticking to them, but is there anything that you'd like to get done in the new year, whether it be music related or not?
I've got like goals and milestones that I'd love to reach, and ambitions and stuff like that. But this year, none of the things that happened that have been so incredible were ever on like a list.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because they're too wild to have put on a list. So going forward with that in mind, I quite like the idea of letting life weave the magic in the background and sort of going with the flow and focusing what I need to focus on, the things that are within my control, like my quality of work, my what I'm doing for my health, like my sleep, my diet, things that keep me, I guess, in a state where I'm able to do my best work and like be grateful and respectful for the position that I find myself in now,
100%. I think those are very understandable, and they're always good ones. I think that sometimes some of the basics like health, things like that, they kind of get overlooked. But if you're doing those, I think you're on the right kind of track. Sam, lastly, we would usually ask, I guess, what they're currently listening to. Is there anything at the moment that's kind of on high rotation for yourself?
Well, I've been listening to the New Year's Eve show that I put together non-stop for the past month. And I just went on Spotify today and I was like, oh my God, I can listen to anything that I want now. Because I'm not like trying to ingrain things in my head in a short space of time. So I listened to the new Number of the Beast remaster from Iron Maiden today. It was wicked, man. It's lovely to dive back into that.
If you're going to get back into it, that's definitely a strong way to do it, yeah. Sam, thank you so much for your time today. I do appreciate it. Congratulations on the album. There's Nothing But Space, man. But thank you for being on the pod.
Bless you. Have a lovely day. Peace.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Sam Ryder for his time. There's Nothing But Space, Man is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to buy the record. We also want to give a huge shout out to Thomas at Warner Music Australia for helping out with today's interview. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the Playlist profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Hi, I'm Zibby Owens, and I am the host of the award-winning podcast, Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. I have daily author interview podcasts, over 1,600 of them that I've recorded over the last 5 years. Hear from all your favorite best-selling authors, celebrities, and more, even if you're too busy to read the books. Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Again, that's Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Listen today.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.